guys, Ralph here. True Power Trumpet Fitness, and welcome to terrific Tuesday. They're all terrific when you have double C's. Anyway, I have to get this up quickly. My cleaning lady may walk in any minute now, and yeah, I got to get out of Dodge. So let's do this. And this, you saw the thumbnail, multiple tonguing. This is a piggyback on what we talked about yesterday with Doc Schutzer. It takes a little explanation of my preference and my approach, and other than that, it's business as usual with True Power. Okay, so I have played it today. Let's see what we got. Not a mark anyway. And that's after 2 hours of playing. Hellacious double C's, a little bit of Carnival of Venice, a little bit of Haydn, a little bit of Hummel. You get the idea. Okay, now, a lot of this multiple tonguing, the approach, what I'm going to say is you can do both ways with True Power. Okay, because we are using the tongue to control everything, it's easy to do both approaches that I have. Now, my approach, nature or nurture, I'm not even sure. I know Vacchiano just loved weight to the sound, even when you were multiple tonguing. Remember, he was straight orchestra. He did no solos per se. Ba-da-da-dum, Mahler fifth, da-da-da-dum. That's what he was after. The big Germanic tone with weight in it all the time. Mel Broyles, and I'm going to put a link down below that will show you exactly what I'm talking about. And the more I talk, I think it was probably nurture. I didn't know this when I was 15. This was nurture. It is between Vacchiano, Mel, John Ware, my teachers. Okay. Now, with weight to the tone, pop to every note, and whatnot. Now, there is another school of thought. There's no question. It is the brass quintet / soloist type of thing. Now, Stagers, Liberati, they still had the pop. They still had the pop. The tone wasn't as dark as the orchestral guys, but they still had the pop. Now, other guys, I'm going to give a couple... Ryan Anthony, Canadian brass, and who's the other guy? Ridenour, Brandon Ridenour, is that right? Yes. Now those guys, they came from a different background. Cut their teeth with the brass quintet, and all their solos is very, very light. Okay? And unlike Vacchiano, who had no use for the light stuff, I think there's a place for it. It's not my cup of tea. I prefer the heavier articulations, I do. But there's certainly a spot for it, and I'm not knocking those guys at all. There's a place for it. Now, for the sake of argument, Gerard Schwartz, who followed Vacchiano in the orchestra, very, very, extremely light approach to that, and he didn't last. He didn't get tenure. He did not last. The powers that be didn't like it. Now, that was the New York Philharmonic. If he played in a different orchestra, maybe he could have gotten away with it. Okay, but following Vacchiano and all that sort of stuff, you're not going to play like that in the top orchestras. So, heavy or light? Again, I prefer the heavy. That's why you saw yesterday's video. I was just loving Doc Schutzer. That is what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about. And you're going to listen to Mel. Please check out that link. That is what I'm talking about. Now, in each case, could Ridenour and Anthony maybe go a little faster? Maybe. Maybe. It's not like Doc Schutzer, Mel, and all those guys are giving up much as far as speed is concerned, as you'll hear. But I just love the pop. I love the weight of tone, no matter what you're doing, as you heard. Frank Kaderabek was another one. Oh, you talk about pop and weight of tone. I loved it. I absolutely love it. Harry James. Guys, Harry James. Now, if you listen to his Horace Staccato and his concerto, can Stagers and them go faster? Yes. No question about it. But the pop, the precision, the clarity, that is, for me, that's where it goes. Okay. With that said, Ralph, how do we do it? Jerry used to say 3 words: spit and cough. It's as simple as that. Spit and cough. Now, here's the deal, and this is where the question comes in. If your tongue is anchored to the lower bottom lip, you have to articulate. Every articulation you have is back in the middle of the tongue. Okay? That doesn't change. That doesn't change at all. Now, instead of the tongue doing this, that's why all our guys that played with a thick tongue, the tongue is barely moving. That's why you get supreme speed with the true power tongue position. Supreme speed. I'm telling you, man, I have middle school kids, high school kids that can't control it yet, but can go so much faster than me. So much faster than me. And I told you, there was a guy from Estonia. I'm not going to use his name. The jazz player that played Donna Lee. Was that 2 videos ago? I don't even remember. He has an extraordinary multiple tongue. Doesn't know what to do with it. He has no desire whatsoever to play Carnival of Venice. I'm trying to get him to learn one. But with the weight in the tone. Wynton Marsalis, back when he did classical playing, which he doesn't do anymore, very, very light. Very, very light. But you listen to those recordings. I mean, they're wonderful. They're flawless. Okay? They're so fast. I don't hear the pop. And once again, when you're talking recording as opposed to live, the engineer that's paid lots of money to make them sound good can doctor that up a little bit. But again, I have to hear the pop, and I don't really hear the pop with a lot of those lighter guys. Vasutti. Vacchiano had no use for him at all. I didn't understand it. I do see what he was talking about, the tone. The tone is a little lighter. For me, Vasutti, when he stays in that middle register, that Napoli, Carnival of Venice register, I think his notes do pop, and he does have a little halfway house for the weight. I have no problem with that. When he goes above the high C, it does get thin. Okay, and a couple of the things, Carnival of Venus, I mean, it's extraordinary, but it does get very pinched up there, and Vacchiano had no use for that at all. To each his own. I've done several videos on Vasutti, and I buy it. I buy in. Herseth could be a little, like Mel, could be a little bit of a chameleon. He had all that weight in the orchestra of the Mahler, the Strauss, the Wagner. Dun, 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 dun. All that weight. But you hear him play the Haydn concerto, and the notes still pop. And again, it's not Del Steger's virtuosity, but it is, I love it. Well, you know how I feel about Herseth. But, guys, spit and cough and spit buzz. You cannot spit buzz multiple tongue enough. Okay? Now, when you are controlling the tongue, you can, like Herseth and Broyles, back off a little bit with the compression and give it a little less weight if you want it to be a little fluffy. Phil Smith. Phil Smith is another one that walks that tightrope between the heavy and the light beautifully. Beautifully. I mean, his French stuff, his fêtes from Nocturnes and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And his Mahler, forget it. So it can be done. And all these guys that I'm talking about, from what we know, have a tongue that is very, very close to ours. Okay? Does that clear it up a little bit? I hope. It's the same thing you're using here. You're spitting and coughing. If you have to go slow, do it. You can just pick it up. The tongue is barely moving. It's almost flicking. It's barely moving. Okay? That's that. Eat and drink your fruits and vegetables and live your life with true power. I love you all.